Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and it's time to get our conspiracy tinfoil hats on, because there was a very funky response by Micheal Chu, who is, of course, the lead story designer developer. He's the man who's in charge of the Overwatch lore. Made this comment on Twitter in reference to D.Va. Now, somebody said to him, if D.Va was a StarCraft pro before joining Overwatch, we can assume she's played a little bit of Heroes of the Storm, right? And then he responded with, it's a common misconception, but D.Va wasn't a StarCraft pro before joining Mecha. Okay. Now, just to give him the benefit of the doubt, he does respond again with this comment, pretty much directly after that initial tweet response was made. So somebody then said to him, it doesn't really make sense in her story though. The whole point of her becoming a mecha pilot was because they needed people with fast enough reflexes to keep up with the Omnics, so they recruited pro gamers. Why is she a mecha pilot? And then Micheal Chu attempted to clarify and says this, I was trying to make the distinction between her being a pro gamer and a pro gamer who specialised in StarCraft, but my wording wasn't super clear. So I guess the question is, why the hell is he even trying to, well, like, why even say that in the first place? Why even say, no, she wasn't a pro StarCraft 2 player, when actually all of the stuff about D.Va says that she's a StarCraft 2 pro gamer? But maybe this goes deeper, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's take a look at the evidence, because it is quite comprehensive. First up, we get this. Now, this is a URL, and you're probably thinking, Sty, why are you showing me this on the screen? Well, if you type this into your browser, you will just, well, it goes nowhere. It used to go to this page, though. Now, using the Wayback Machine, we can pull up old versions of websites, can't we? So I pulled this up, and this is D.Va. This was the teaser for the introduction of D.Va into Overwatch. This is before she was even in the game. This is on the WCS website, so the World Championship Series for StarCraft 2. This is the kind of like their Overwatch League in a way, I guess you could say. This is where the best players go. This typically has profiles of the players. However, they've put D.Va in this, and it says D.Va. Now, if you read this off, it says, at the age of 16, D.Va became the #1 ranked player in the world and proceeded to go undefeated for the next 3 years in all competitions. D.Va is an international star, beloved by her fans at home and abroad, and has toured in exhibitions around the world. Recently, she has taken a step back from competition to focus on her commitment to protect the safety of her homeland. Now, there's no reference to StarCraft 2 there because, well, this is on the StarCraft 2 website, and you wouldn't be in WCS unless you were like the best players in the world. So when it says she's a #1 ranked player in the world and has been undefeated for 3 years, that means she's pretty good at StarCraft, ladies and gentlemen. But there's more evidence, don't you worry. So then we get this off Jeff. Now, this is from a recent Forbes interview about Blizzard World, and Jeff says this. Yeah, we have that. We have D.Va as a StarCraft pro. So if this is a common misconception, it's a common misconception by literally everybody at Blizzard and everywhere else. And hello, Mr. Chu, you can't go on Twitter and just say, oh, it's a common misconception, as if we're all somehow blind to the fact she's not a StarCraft pro when, well, everything Blizzard says is that she's a StarCraft pro. Anyway, check this out. This is Arnold Sang. Now, he is he's sort of like the designer of the heroes, not of their skills and abilities, I don't think, but more so of their appearance. Arnold is responsible for most of the characters in Overwatch. But check out what he actually says about D.Va.
They're able to withstand any jamming from the Onyx technology. And who better for the pilots than to go to the country's most top elite gamers like D.Va herself. So D.Va is a pro gamer. She's, multiple-time world champion at StarCraft, all different kind of games. And everything that she plays, she's basically a
StarCraft 6.
StarCraft 6.
That's right.
So there you go. D.Va is a StarCraft pro. Again, by the man who basically invented D.Va. And then lastly, we get this, and I could actually go on. There is loads of stuff referencing D.Va, and the interesting thing is, a lot of this has been removed, referencing D.Va being a StarCraft 2 player. So check this out. These are the BlizzCon in-game goodies, the D.Va announcer and portrait, and it clearly says here, in the coming weeks, D.Va will join the cast of 6 other announcers we released with patch 3.7, and she's the first announcer whose origins lie outside of the realm of StarCraft 2 lore. Although D.Va is known most recently for her activities within the Overwatch organization, her journey began in the StarCraft esports scene, where she became the #1 ranked player in the world at the age of 16. Now, if you play D.Va, you'll notice that she's got certain lines in the game where she says she's raising her APM. references to APM. APM is actions per minute. That is what StarCraft is kind of based on in a way. It's not totally based on that. But if a player has high APM, it means they're inputting a lot of commands into the game every minute, and that means they're doing more with their army and their base, so they're probably a better player. Now, you can have a ridiculously high APM and not be a good player, but generally a high APM means you're doing things really quick. And if you look at D.Va when she brings up defense matrix, you'll notice her fingers on the joystick. She's tapping really fast. That's because she needs a high APM, because what's actually happening with defense matrix is D.Va is intercepting the projectiles herself. It isn't just like some sort of computer program. D.Va is actually doing that. So this is really super, super weird. Like, why would Micheal Chu say, well, she's not a StarCraft pro? And why does it look like Blizzard are now attempting to remove every kind of reference from D.Va being a StarCraft 2 pro gamer to just being a pro gamer? It's really, really weird. So this got me thinking, maybe this is the precursor to some sort of lore redesign for D.Va. Maybe the next animated short is a D.Va specific one, and maybe it's going to focus more so on her being sort of this mecha pilot. Yeah, this young girl who was good at games, but then she became a mecha pilot because her reactions were good, and then it sort of focuses more on their fight with the giant omnics that come out of the sea and attack South Korea every few years or so. That could be what they're trying to do. It seems weird though, because StarCraft is a Blizzard game, and I always thought it was fun that D.Va was a StarCraft pro. I don't think it actually affected her lore in any way. In fact, you could say that this is basically deleting most of D.Va's lore. And then we could go into a wider discussion about lore in Overwatch in general. It is by far the least developed aspect of this game, and it really, really annoys me every time I think about it. Let me be real here, guys. I don't sit there and really think about Overwatch lore that often. It's not like, wow, Overwatch lore is what makes the game for me, because it's not really. I enjoy the characters, I enjoy their minimal stories, and that's okay. But when I start thinking about it, there is so much you could do with this game. Loads of stuff they could do. In fact, all we really get is, all right, we get really, really good animated shorts, but animated shorts are just explaining the activation of the people back into Overwatch after Winston basically makes recall. That's essentially most of them. Like, there isn't any kind of like new story. They're not really pushing the story forward. We're just sort of stagnating while they're explaining to us things that happened literally 2 years ago in the Overwatch lore, which is kind of weird. Like, I just wish they'd focus more on story development with Overwatch, because you could have like insane things. You guys all know as well, like, I want loads of PvE content for this game. I'd love that if there were story missions we could do, and hopefully with this year's Uprising event, whatever that turns out to be, it does give us a little bit more sort of lore. But again, that's about going back in history. They're not modern things, they're not new things. We need new lore. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think this redesigning of D.Va's lore, or rather deleting the fact she's a StarCraft 2 pro, could lead to some sort of new lore redesign for her and maybe other heroes? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. If you guys enjoyed the video, then like the video. You can subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I will catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.